So people living in this area, I think it was called Tuzla. Tuzla is a Turkish name, means lot of salt. The name coming from the lake. So the Tuzla area, and this area was a grazing ground for their animals, and for a seclusion area for the Dervish people as well. At the time, 17th or 18th century, they started having visions of Umm Heram, and telling them about her presence, about her identity, because they realized this is not an ordinary place. Because you know the stones inside, there are 3 stones covering her grave, like a small hut. They were always present there. From the time she was buried until today, those stones are there untouched. So they could not identify what's happening, but they know something holy, something divine is happening here. Until she started communicating, and they start having visions of her. And after these visions, they made a request to the ulama, to the scholars of the time. They said, we are having such a spiritual experience. We so and so claimed. Would you be able to identify this? And the scholars, going through the archives and looking into the books, they find the documents telling about Umm Heram's place of burial in Cyprus. And this is the time of 1760s, and Mustafa III is the Sultan. They immediately gave the orders for a place to be built in her honor. And this place, the mosque, these bits you see here, these were guest houses at the time, because people all over, they were coming as guests, and the resident sheikh, he was living there with his family on this bit, and these rooms, they were kept for the guests as misafirhane. And they were coming here for 3 days. They were feeding them, they were looking after them, so they can make their visit to Hala Sultan, and they pay their respects to Hala Sultan. And after a couple of days, people go back to their villages, their cities. I never forget my grandmother, her name was Amina as well, and she was telling me in the year 1990, she passed away in 1991, she was telling me how she was living in Nicosia at the time, and she said every year we used to come here on donkey back, bringing cheese, olives, olive oil, bread for them as a present, and they used to leave 3 o'clock in the morning, and they used to reach here 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock this time. So it was about an 8-hour journey for them. And she said, and it was the most important part of their lives to be able to do this every year. It was like a small hajj for them, a small pilgrimage for them, to be able to come and visit the Tekke of Umm Heram and pay their respects and do their prayers and go back to their villages afterwards. And there is a famous legend about the stones that are covering her inside. And the legend says, during her travel, she was staying in a monastery. She was invited to stay in a monastery for a night. And when she was staying in the monastery, she saw these very big stones inside the garden, in the garden of the monastery. And she inquired, she said, what are these stones for? And the monks in the monastery, the nuns, they said, we really don't know, these are from ancient times, they are here, and we cannot really move them because they are so huge and heavy. And she said, is it possible for me to buy them from you if you don't need them? And they said, what are you going to do with them? You can't move them. She said, never mind, if you don't need them, I would like to buy them. And they said, okay, if you want them so much, we give them to you as a present. And she said, okay, present accepted, and they will be collected when the time comes. This is the legend. And they say the night of her burial, those stones came from Syria by divine power to sign, to be a sign on her grave, so her grave is never lost or missed. And the other part of the legend, they say the top stone, it is called Hajar al-Mu'allak. The top stone never touched the bottom ones. And my grandmother, who passed away, grandmother who passed away in 1991, she was so strong on this point. She said to me, I see many times the top stone never touching the bottom one. But her sister, her daughter, my grandmother, she never saw it, because in that time gap, it was the time of British, and they say the British, they plastered the walls and they fill up the gaps. So we really don't know how this was possible, because we have never witnessed it ourselves. But you can find a lot of reference for the Hajar al-Mu'allak in history books, in ancient books, even in British books. When they first came to the island in 1878, they made a very deep research of the island, and she's mentioned in their books as well. They say this stone is 14 tons. Look how big is it? How big is it? Look. Of course, the most important part of this place is herself. It's not the stone. She is the most important part of it. Her presence, her closeness to our Prophet, and her determination to serve God in that old age, to carry out his faith, to come all the way from there and leave her body here. On the island, it is the most important place for Muslims. Now it's, as you see, this place has been completely refurbished by the international organizations, and it is declared as a World Heritage Site. This is Star of Dawood alayhi salam. This is new Muslims, they consider it to be sign of Israel. But this is not sign of Israel, this is sign of Hazrat Dawood. And Hazrat Dawood and Hazrat Sulaiman is our prophets. We are honored with her presence. Because of her presence, we have the mosque as well now. If it wasn't for her, I don't know if anybody would build a mosque here. So this is called kursi. This is where, when the Hoja, the Imam, when he's making a lecture to the Jamaat, other than Jum'ah, and if you have lots of Jamaat, he can climb up there and sit on it and talk to people. It's kursi. On Jum'ah, you go to Mimbar. You will find this in the other mosques in Cyprus. This is a traditional wooden structure where you can see it everywhere. she has sacrificed her life in this faraway land so that people can benefit from her spirituality. And people are understanding this without us telling them. Hence the reason they are coming every day. God is everyone's God. Whatever name you give to him, he is the God of everyone. Islam does not make separation. Islam looks at all the humans as Bani Adam, meaning children of Adam. It doesn't matter what faith they carry, they are Bani Adam. We don't say, oh, God belongs to us. Part of Islamic faith, you have to accept all prophets, starting from first man and first prophet Adam, Hazrati Adam, till the last prophet Hazrati Muhammad. In between, we accept all the prophets. So this, because of that acceptance and tolerance, she is representing it to the highest level. People maybe with their mind, they don't know why they are coming, but with their heart, they are coming. Because mind can trick you, but heart cannot trick you. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah.